Well, hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Today we are talking about the Mavic Air, and we are talking all about the details. This is going to be the first video in a whole series of videos where we're going to go through everything there is to know about the Mavic Air. In today's video, we're talking all about the physical aspects of it. We're talking about where everything is, what it is, what I like about it, and what I don't like about it. So let's dive right in. So in today's video, we're going to be using the Onyx Black one to show you everything about the Mavic Air, the physical characteristics, but we are also going to show you a little bit of the red one that we have here. So you can see we have two. Some of you guys who are following my channel, you guys might be familiar with the red one here. This is the one that I went through the warranty replacement process with. Now, this is the one that they sent back to me. It is working fantastic. I've flown it a ton, and it is a thumbs up. I'm loving it so far. But there are a few little quirks about it. We're going to talk as we go through this video and future videos about things that I think DJI might be able to do better, and I would love to see them do. Now, in this specific video, we are going to be talking specifically about the black one that we have here. Now, this one is not one that I actually bought. This is one that DJI sent to me as part of a trial program. I've got this for just over about a month. So DJI did send me this particular aircraft. This is not the Fly More. If you guys have been watching my video, my other one, my red one, is the Fly More package. This one is not. So we're going to go through and show you all the details of what comes in this one and all the details about it. So let's go into it. So, of course, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find your battery. This is the first thing you do when you get a new product, is you need to find your battery and the charger to go with it. So let's talk a little bit about that. So what do we get that comes with the standard package that helps us to charge this? So this is what comes with our package, is we get a charger here. Let's push those back out of the way. We get a charger out of here, and it comes with a single charger. So the regular package comes with one battery, and it comes with a charger that allows us to plug that battery directly into this charger. So let's take this. We're going to plug it in. It is keyed here. You can see on the one side there is a little keyed out area right there that you can see that is going to match up with a little area right here on the battery. So you want to make sure and put that in the right direction. We plug that in, and then we're going to plug this into our wall outlet. Now, right now, there is no capability to be able to charge your battery directly in the aircraft. I personally think this is a miss on DJI's part. So we're going to take this, set this aside. Our battery is actually already charged. I cheated, of course, and have put my battery on the charger already so that I'm ready for this particular video. What I do like is that the charger comes with two USB ports, so while you're plugged in and charging this, you can be charging two other devices from USB as well. Now, speaking of that, let's grab the remote control. So we have the remote control here. We're going to want to charge this as well. So on here we have, on the side is the charging port. This is a USB-C charging port that you can see right there. It is rectangular, and it is a bit different than your normal USB, a micro USB port, but it will work just fine. Now, they also include this cable right here. What's on this cable? So this cable is a USB, a micro USB. You can plug this in right here and plug this in to your charger here. And you are now, once you plug that in, you are charging your battery as well as your remote control here. All right, so we're going to set that aside. We're charging now, and we're going to continue with our tour. So let's move this stuff out of the way here, and let's dive into the aircraft itself. All right, so aircraft, Mavic Air. So on the back here is one of the parts that I think DJI can really do a better job at. This port right here on the back of it, of course, is where the USB-C port is. And yes, I said USB-C, which is kind of odd, right? Because we just showed a micro USB port on the remote control. I'm not sure why DJI decided to do a micro USB on the remote control and a USB-C on the aircraft itself. Kind of odd, but it is what it is, right? So you can see here, we have micro USB here, and we have USB-C here. Now, the cable that I showed you that they ship with it does come with a micro USB, but it is just an adapter, whoa, that is connected on a USB-C. So they're sending a USB-C cable with a micro USB adapter. Why don't they just do USB-C the whole way around? It would be great for power. And as we'd mentioned, you can't power the aircraft with the USB-C port. It will not charge your battery if you connect here. So those are a couple of weird and unique things. Now, the other piece that I will mention in regards to this area back here that are a bit frustrating, I guess I would say, is that I'm not a skinny dude. I don't have skinny little fingers. I got chunky fingers. I don't have good fingernails. I chew them off, one of my terrible habits I have of many. But this is also where you put your micro SD card, your memory card is right in here. Okay? And you can see the USB-C port. Now this is recessed back in here pretty good. Now you can see my finger kind of disappears in there a little bit. Try getting that micro SD card in and out of there. It is not easy. So DJI, this is one area where I would love to see you put a little bit more thought into it. People have bigger fingers. It's not easy to get your card in there or out of there. And this port is kind of small, and the USB-C cable is pretty tight fit in here. So I would like to see this whole area right here kind of rethought. Now I do like USB-C. I hope everything they do goes to USB-C. I hope that they go away from this micro USB port here and just go to USB-C, but I'm not sure why they did that. Maybe they have a lot full of you know, these connectors and have to use them up. I'm not really sure, but I would love to see this change in the future. All right. So what else do we have? Now, I love that it folds up like this. It is so stinking small. It is great size. And, you know, it's hand size, right? You can see it fits in my hand, so it's a perfect size. One of the other things I would like to see is the propellers being folded, but it's not really a big deal. It just is kind of awkward as you're grabbing it. It's just kind of one of those touch and feel kind of odd things when you go to stick it in the bag. And you can see this, it's kind of stuck here on the propeller or the guard for this. And so if these were foldable, it would just be a little bit nicer holding on to it, right? So, but not a big deal. As I understand, you know, it's probably cheaper to manufacture them in this fashion where they're solid propeller and not folding. It's probably also more efficient in terms of going through the air and stuff. You don't have any give on them and so on. So, you know, I understand. Now, what I do like is how they have put this together and how it folds up. It's really super simple, okay? So the first thing you need to do is pull out and up the back legs just like that, okay? So they come out and up. And as you can see, there's a little foot here. When it's folded up, it nestles in nicely with this propeller here. Okay, so this is part of the reason why you need to do these first. Then after you get the rear legs out, rear arms, I guess, then you pull out the front ones here. And this is something that I forget to do quite frequently, is make sure to put up the little feet here. Put these up. It helps make it so that the gimbal is a little bit more off the ground, and it also makes it so that the antenna, because there's antenna in these little feet here, it makes it so that your signal reception is going to be a bit better. It's going to put them at an appropriate angle, and it's going to get them where they need to be so that you have the maximum signal potential. Now these little feet thing here are something that I quite honestly have forgot to do on several of my flights. So I had to bring it back down, land it, put these out. So that is something to keep an eye on. So the next thing is this gimbal guard is fantastic. I love how it looks. I love how it's integrated in. You can tell it was thought about from the beginning. It was designed with this, with a purpose. I like it. It looks great. The only thing I'll say is it looks so good, I forget to take it off because it doesn't stand out to me. So I'll be probably putting like a little sticker on here, using some nail polish or something on here, put a bright color on here, and probably on here as well, to help remind me to take this off, because there's been several times on several flights where I've forgotten to take this off before I turn it on. And when you turn it on, it tries to do, it tries to move around to make sure that it is adjusted appropriately. So you can potentially break or cause problems for your gimbal motor if it's stuck with this. Now, it's easy to take off. You just squeeze those two little things together, slide it right out, and you'll see the gimbal in there right here. Now the gimbal, you can tell the gimbal has been designed very well. There's been a lot of thought put into this gimbal. I think that it was designed much better than the one that came with the Mavic Pro. You can see that how they've designed it right here, that it is guarded much better, so that when you have a crash, if you have a crash, and in pretty much every drone pilot, you've either already crashed or you're going to crash, right? Nobody has not crashed a drone, right? So it is one of those things. Anyways, so I like how it's protected here much better. I like the gimbal just feels much more solid. The one on the Mavic Pro just feels like you could blow on it and knock it off. So this gimbal is nice. You can see the bottom facing vision sensors down here that help with determining altitude and some of those things when you're below a certain point, also for missing obstacles and so on. And then of course this is what's new with the Mavic line and the foldable ones, is that it has rear sensors here as well. Now this is an LED. It's also a button that you can press. It's useful for if you need to redo your controller, if you need to resynchronize your controller with the aircraft. In my instance, with my red one that I had purchased, they sent me a replacement aircraft, so I had to go through the process of resynchronizing the remote control to the aircraft. And in order to do that, you do a process where you are pressing on this button in order to start the synchronization process. This is also an LED for the status updates that tells you what's going on with the aircraft, and then you'll also see there are two status points here as well. So if you are new to the Mavic Air, we showed you how to unfold it. I gave you a couple of hints. Make sure you take off the gimbal guard. Make sure you put out your feet. This is where you do your USB connection in case you need to do any sort of firmware upgrades or anything like that with your computer. You can connect your USB cable to that. The USB-C plugs right in there, and the micro SD card for your memory storage goes in here. Now, of course, remember that the aircraft also has 8 gigs of onboard storage. So once you get your micro SD card and you put it in here, you're going to want to go into the app on your phone and tell it to actually store your photos and videos onto your card instead of the onboard storage. All right, so that is a little tour of the physical characteristics of the aircraft. Of course, we have a 4K camera here, very similar to the one that is already on the Mavic Pro. 4K, 30 frames per second, 2.7K, 60 frames per second, 1080p at 120 frames per second. Of course, the big difference with this one is that when you're at 4K, 30 frames per second, it's recording that at 100 megabits per second, which is an upgrade from, I think, about 60 megabits per second for the Mavic Pro. So you're storing more information with that video, and you should get a better picture because of it. There's less compression happening in the video that's being recorded, and it's going to give you, especially those you guys who are doing color corrections and those sorts of things, are going to get even better video because you're going to have more data and more information to be able to work with to get your color corrections. Now, of course, for you guys who are maybe new to drones, keep in mind that you have two different types of propellers. You have ones that have white marks on it, you have ones that do not. You can see that on the propeller itself, you got little dashes here, white dashes, and on this one there are no white dashes. And then on the motor, you can see this white mark right here, and there is no white mark here. So when you're replacing propellers, you need to keep in mind which side they go on, and that's the same on front and rear. So you got the white marks on this side, no white marks on this side. And the reason for that, of course, is that the propellers are spinning in different directions, so they have a different pitch to them. And that is partially for stability. There were a whole bunch of stickers that came on it when I first got it out of the box. You're going to want to take all those off. I personally left 2 of those stickers on, and you can see them right here. Now, when it's folded up, the propellers actually rub a little bit on here. And if you can see just a little bit, there's a little mark right there and a little mark just right there. I left those stickers on because I think that it's going to start rubbing the paint and whatever. So I'd rather it rub that sticker and, you know, kind of affect that rather than rub the paint that is on the aircraft. All right, so in addition to the aircraft, we get 4 extra propellers with the standard package. They come in here. So you get 4 propellers on the aircraft, and you get the 4 additional ones as well. All right, so that is the aircraft. Let's take a look at the remote control now. Now, this is very similar to the Spark and the Mavic Pro's remote controller. You'll notice that it's actually closer to the Spark's controller than the Mavic Pro's. There is no LCD display here with flight telemetry data, so you don't have that. The other couple of things that are different from the Mavic Pro is that there's no buttons here on the back, as well as there is only one dial up here. The Mavic Pro has another dial over here that allows you to help control exposure. So the controller is much more like the Spark. Now, the difference between this and the Spark is that the Spark by default uses a Wi-Fi connection to your phone. This actually uses a cable, and you can see that right here there's already a cable sitting there and ready to plug into my iPhone. Now, if you have an Android, and of course, Android doesn't use a lightning cable, they give you 2 additional cables. There's a USB-C and a micro USB in here. It's very easy just to take this cable out, you unplug it from here, and just replace it with the appropriate one that works for you. So there is this micro USB port we already talked about. This is where you charge it from. Don't get confused by the rectangular nature of it. It still works with the standard micro USB connection that looks a bit more like this with the tapered edges. You can see the tapered edges on this. So you can use pretty much any micro USB cable to be able to charge this. So let me go ahead and plug this back in. Now, of course, this is different than the Spark. The Spark uses Wi-Fi by default. All right, so now the other thing that you can see is, where are my sticks? There's no sticks in here. Of course, they are hidden right in here for convenience sake. This is a feature that I really like, and I hope to see them. And I hope to see them continue to do on future drones. Just really easy. They just pop right in there and screw right in. So I like the removable sticks. That's fantastic. It makes it so that it's very easy, very portable. You don't have to worry about breaking them off when you throw them in your bag. It makes it very easy to carry around. Now you can see under here, there's actually another USB port in here. And of course, this is for the normal sized USB. A couple of things that this is useful for. This is useful for if you have a tablet. This particular cord is not going to be long enough to reach your power port or the the USB port on your tablet for the connection. And so using this, you can just plug in pretty much any USB cable using the standard, larger size port. Now, one of the things I really like about having this port here is that it actually charges your device a little bit. It puts out a little bit of charge, uses the power from your remote control and passes a little bit of that power to your phone or your tablet. Now, I like that because I don't know about you guys, but I use my phone all day, every day. My phone is in my pocket. It's being used. And so when I'm ready to go fly, my battery could be anywhere on my phone, could be anywhere from 10% to 100%, right? And if I'm at 10% and it's, then if I don't have any additional power, then I can't really go fly. So I like to be able to plug in from here to my phone, and it gives a little bit of its charge to the phone so that the phone battery isn't going to die. Now, for me, I'm pretty good at keeping this charged up all the time. I'm not very good at keeping this charged up all the time because this is in my pocket all day doing something. Generally speaking, when I'm done from coming back from a flight, I will bring this and charge this up and charge up my aircraft batteries as well. And but this is in my pocket all day. It's being used for a million different things. So this generally has full power on it. So to steal a little bit of power and put it into my phone is actually a good thing for me, in my opinion. Now, some of you guys may not like that situation, but that is one of the things that I do like about it. So we have a customizable function button here. We also have a customizable button here. And they have actually changed the capabilities that you can choose within DJI Go software for what you can set these to do. But there's a setting to go in and define what they do. So there's the function button and that button. You also, of course, have the record button. This is the video record button. You have a button to take a picture. You have a wheel here that affects the gimbal, tells the gimbal to go up and down, up and down. All right, so that's this. And that's one of the features, one of the places in the software that we'll get to later, but this is one of the things that you're going to want to customize pretty much right away from as soon as you start flying. That is the remote control. Of course, you can just stick your phone right in here, plug in the port there, jab it in there, jab it in there. So then I plug it in and then I turn on the remote control. And to turn on and off the remote control, you press this button. This is the power button. You do a single press and then a full press. Okay, so to turn it on and off, you're going to press it, single, and then press and hold. And you'll hear that just turned it off. And to turn it back on, single press, and then press and hold. And you can see it turned it on. Okay, so that is the same thing that goes for the aircraft as well. We're going to take our battery that is charged now, and we're going to stick it in here. Okay, so we can see that the way that the battery goes in here is it kind of goes like this. You can see it kind of rests in there. Okay, so it kind of rolls in there, and then you press it down. You can see this little red here on the side. If you see any red, that means your battery is not in there solidly. So you need to double check this and make sure that on both sides you don't see any red. So I'm just going to press down, and you can see it click in positively, and I just want to make sure that there is no red on either side. That makes sure that my battery is in. Okay, so then I can check the battery, make sure that it's got plenty of juice in it. You want to see 4 lights lit up solid. You just press a single tap and it will show you how much juice it has in it. And then to turn the aircraft on, you do just like we did for the remote control. You do a single tap and then a press and hold, and that will turn it on. And then you'll see it kind of go through a boot up process. You might have seen the propellers move a little bit. You can hear it beep a little bit. You're going to see the gimbal moving. And you're going to see the front light should turn red, and the back light should go to it's going to go, in this case, to green, a flashing green, because I have my remote control turned on and connected. So you'll see that the remote control turned green here. So if I turn this off, if I go back and turn it off, single press, press and hold, turned off, and then we should see this light go from a green to a red. That means that it is disconnected now. And if I turn it back on, oh, press and hold, okay, and you'll see the light here will go through different stages. The flashing different colors was part of the boot up process. Flashing yellow is saying that we're waiting for the remote to be connected, and we'll see this is going to go green and this is going to go green, and that means that they are connected and they are ready to go and fly. All right, so the last thing you're going to want to do in terms of the physical function of this setup is, before you go fly, you want to pull your antenna up, and you're going to want the flat side of the antenna here to point at wherever your aircraft is. And that's going to get you the maximum amount of distance with your flying. You do not want to point them at the aircraft like that. I've got a whole video specifically about that. You can check that out up here. All right, so that is a tour of what came with the standard DJI Mavic Air, not the Fly More package. Talked about all the details of it, talked about some of the details of what I like about the physical aspects, what I don't like. A lot of what I don't like is about right here, in this area right here. Like to see some of the ports change, like to see the access to get to this easier as well. And would like to see this to be a USB-C instead of a micro USB. All right, so that is the tour. I hope you guys enjoyed that. The next video that's going to be coming out is going to be firmware updates and DJI Go software. Where do you get it? How do you do the firmware upgrades? Why do you do the firmware upgrades? And so on. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope this was useful for you. If it was, I'd love to see you hit that subscribe button, like, leave me a comment. What else do you guys want to learn about with the Mavic Air platform? I got a whole series of videos planned coming out. Like I said, the next one coming out is about firmware updates and then going for our first flight. So I'd love to see you on that one. We'll see you again soon, and hope you guys have a great day. Ciao.